Hey, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good night to some folks. Good evening, I guess, not good night. Welcome to the intraday webinar here. Compliments of live trading alerts. Ed, thank you very much for having me here. Again, appreciate it. Okay, let's make sure. Sorry, I've been sitting here talking and the sound button was off. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks, Ed, for allowing me to come in here to live trading alerts and do an intraday webinar. I absolutely appreciate it. I'm always afraid that one day he's going to cut me off. So, how's everybody doing? Day before the election, how's your trading going, Lee, BB, David? I have the recorder running. That was more than anything, that was me affirming to myself the recorder is running. Let's see, Lee, good. You wish you had some CGC. Well, you know, we're going to talk about CGC today. That's one of the ones we're going to talk about. So we'll do that. Okay, I'm curious here. There's almost 100 people in the room. How many people here are not? How many people here are not in the hit and run candlesticks trading room or the right way options room during the day? How many people here are not? Just curious to see if there's anyone. Stacy, you're not. Great. Oh, wow. Holy mackerel. Okay. An awful lot of folks. Well, fantastic. Good deal. Yeah, I was just curious about that. Okay. Thanks for being here. So, what this is, it's an intraday webinar, so we can look at stocks intraday, charts intraday. You can ask questions. Live trading alerts. It's live trading alerts, trading room, and I just happen to be the host. Like I say, Ed could kick me out, and he could host himself or bring another host in here at any time. So, you know, today we'll be talking about charts. I'll be talking about live trading alerts. Be talking about anything and everything you'd like to do that. So, I think that's great. All righty. So, I want to. First of all, I want, just in case somebody did not know, I posted with the members app. So for those that are not a member of Hit and Run Candlesticks, we have an app that I post all my buys and sells. And I just closed the last of my NIO, 68% or something like that. 68%, yeah. So I just closed the last of it. Outside of some longer term holds, I'm in all cash as far as trading goes. Let's get this election over with. I feel that it's more important to protect the money that you have earned versus making money. Making money will come. Making money will happen. It's important to keep that money. And with the risk of the election right now, I think it's too risky to be too involved with the market here. So with that said, let's take a look at the market really quick. Just look at the SPY. From my point of view, and you know, any trader you talk to, David, Donna, Aaron, Dan, Neil, Brashane, Abby, Joe, those are the only names I can visually see. Everybody has their opinion on the market, and I want you to all realize that it is nothing more than that individual's opinion. It does not mean that, excuse me, I'm nursing a cold. It doesn't mean that somebody else could have a different opinion and, you know, one's not better than the other. I like to simply trade with the charts. I have certain rules with the charts. For instance, I like to go long only when the chart is trending or when price action is above those green dots right there. See how we're green over here? See how we're red right here? red right here. I tend not to buy when we're down like that. I wouldn't say that I never buy, but as a rule, I do not. 95, maybe 98% of all my trades are only when we're up green like this. Now, that doesn't mean that David B, David could be trading only buy stocks that are like this, and David may be looking for a reversal. Thanks for letting me use you, by the way, David. And both of us can be making money. Now, I think everybody needs to have an edge in trading. This is one of my edges. Only trading in trends. I find that's easier to make money. I find it works out. That's one of my edges. My other edge is live trading alerts. This is just 2 of about 20 windows I have up, maybe 30 windows I have up now. I have a few others. We'll talk about a couple of them today. But this is a huge edge for me for trading. So what has it done? And just give me another minute, and then we're going to look at charts. I certainly want to look at some charts from you folks, so please just give me another minute. Why do I think my edge is so important? The edge of only trading in a trend, so only being long when we're up like this versus trying to buy here. And why is live trading alerts an edge for me? Al says higher probability. You're right. But what does that move into? Well, this is what it's done. I'm assuming everybody here has heard of the Road to Wealth account. 2 accounts now. Only trading 1, though. We closed out the first account, and it reached $78,000 in about 30 months. Well, I would say that whatever I have for an edge, it's pretty good. Now, I know traders that have done much better than that. Okay, I'm not trying to say that's some great monumental feat or anything. And I truly do know traders in hit-run candlesticks and right-way options that do much better than that. I'm just talking about mine. I'm just trying to share my edge on how I did it. So, okay, we have closed that account out. We've opened another account out. So I suppose it's possible that between January of 2018 to about, June of 2020, just a couple months ago, that it was a fluke. I suppose it was a fluke. It could have been. Could have been a fluke that we went from that 5K to 78. Okay. Could have been a fluke. Well, we opened up another account, and we opened up the account, month and a half, maybe 2 months ago now. I'll have to look at the exact date. For 10K, and it's possible today that I'm up 50% on my account. I know I'm up 45%, but we might hit 50% if, it's possible. So, okay, fluke, maybe. Is it a fluke the second time? I'm going to say I think not. I think it's because, like Al said, I trade higher probability trades. I put the trades in my favor. I look for what can give me the edge. Trading trending stocks, I think, gives me an edge, and I think live trading alerts gives me an edge. Excuse me, I do apologize. I'm seriously nursing a good old-fashioned fall cold here. So that edge is what counts. Okay, all right. If you guys would, if you have some trades you'd like to share, let's take a look at them. Let's keep in mind the election is tomorrow night. Let's keep in mind that the market is pretty risky, and I'm going to lean that way. I'm definitely going to lean that way. So I'm going to lean that way so much, I would venture to say that everybody should be sitting on their hands. Everybody. That eliminates risk. But we need to look at some stocks. Thank you, Dr. Call. Appreciate it. So you posted out CSX here. Earnings is in January, so that's plenty far away. That's fantastic. We've got a nice little trend here. You can see that it dipped down. We've come back up. We're above the T-line now, and that's a good little rally back up. I'm not going to worry too much about this candle and the top. I think what I'm more interested in is this candle back here and these candles right here. And we have now broken out of that. Now, I do not think that's a buy. If you're in it, it's probably a hold, but I certainly don't think it's a buy. However, what I would do is put that buy box up there like that. Put that buy box up there like that. And then what we want to look for is consolidation. Another one of the edges I think I have is I really only look for a couple of chart patterns. That's truly it. Up and back like this. Up and back, just like that. You add that with being alerted when the buyers are coming in. It just makes for a trade that usually works out in short term rather than long term. So I think that's a pretty nice chart there, Dr. Call. Like I said, I wouldn't be buying it right now. I think it's just too far. It's too high. If you're in it, I would certainly just raise my stop up and work with it. If you're looking to buy it, wait for a little consolidation. That's what I'm seeing in the chart. Let's see. BB, looking at TXN. Also, I want to give a little time today. I just had somebody PM me. Asked if I could go over today's watch list that we send out, that Hit Run Candlesticks sends out. And I will be more than happy to go over that toward the end. We'll go through each and every one of those trades and why I looked at them there. So here's another thing that I'm going to assume, okay? If you post a stock out and you don't tell me if you're looking long or short, I'm going to assume that it's always a long, okay? I'm just going to make that assumption unless you tell me different. So we're looking at TXN here. We've got a nice bullish engulf. I think we can come up here and draw a line and say, I think we have a trend working, okay? It could fall apart at any time. I see that resistance right here. I see that resistance through there. In all honesty, I don't think it's a buy right here. I think I would rather wait till it actually broke out. I would rather wait till it broke out. One of the biggest aha moments in my trading, personal trading, was I don't have to buy bullish engulfs, which I don't recommend that anyway. I think that's bad business to buy just a bullish engulf because it's a bullish engulf. Same with consolidation. I don't always buy that. If you look at this, we're still in a downtrend. The trend hasn't changed. So I would be hard-pressed to take this trade until it broke out. Now, years ago, what I would do is I would buy in here. And I'll be darned if I didn't lose money more times than not. So buy, and I would end up losing money. And the reason is a bullish engulf is not a reversal signal when it's made. A bullish engulf is a reversal signal only when it actually reverses. And this is I look at candlesticks very different than a whole lot of people. I see a candlestick signal like a bullish engulf. That's a clue. That's not a reversal to me. That's a clue. It's not a reversal till it actually reverses. Then you can go back and say, well, that was a reversal. Now, for those folks that like to buy the so-called reversal during it, I would actually bet that you trade your winners for losers all the time. For the trader that says, I'm going to wait till this thing breaks out and test, You're the trader that just might be making money because now you're playing in that trend right there. So anyway, on TXN, I would look at this as a long only when it broke out. We also want to look at chart patterns, and we've got a shoulder here, head here. So one has to ask, are we building a shoulder here? And until we break out and prove any different, I'm going to have to call that a head and shoulders. I would have to be a little cautious with it, and I think I'll be a little patient with it. One thing I want to mention here too is I hear from a lot of traders that I coach and things like this is, well, when it gets up here, I've missed the trade. Oh, okay, wait a minute. You're right. You have. You have missed the trade. You've missed the trade from, say, here to here. Yes, you have. And if you're lucky, you maybe have missed the trade from here to a little higher, if you're lucky. Well, let's think about it. Have we missed the trade? I want to go look at this on a weekly chart, a monthly chart. And all I was doing by looking at those longer term chart to see if there's anything over here on the left. And you can see there's not. We are breaking out to some new highs here. Okay? So, if somebody looking at this chart was to say, or I was to ask, where do you think this chart could go? Somebody might say, well, I think it go up here to 166, right? I don't see any reason why it can't. I mean, it went from what, $100 to 144. Why can't it go there? It could. Well, if that's the case, then we don't have to take a risky trade like this. We could simply wait till it breaks out, then let it pull back. And this is where I let the scanner work. You might put this on the watch list, which we could scan for this breakout too. But put this on the watch list, and then when it starts coming up on, we're pretty fond of the 3/8 trap. You could also do something, a breakout of the trend indicator, a breakout of the T-line, maybe a bounce off the T-line, that kind of stuff. That can all be dialed into the scanner. Again, this is only 2 windows of 30 I have. So we could dial it in, or Ed could anyway. So if that's the case, if we wait for this, wouldn't it be better to take that trade up this way with less concern than it is all that risk right in there? So anyway, there's my thoughts on TXX. BB, I'm sorry that took so long to TXN anyway. Sorry it took so long for me to go through that one. I hope no one minds. Let's look at SNBR. SNBR, nice chart. Okay, I'm actually going to write that down. SNBR, thank you. I'm going to come over here and flag it. Boom. That's a beautiful chart. Beautiful, beautiful trend overall. Looks like we got a little flat right in here. You can see that we broke out here, and I would call this all pretty much just testing, and it's doing a pretty good job of it. Great day today, fantastic day, a couple of really good days in here. I want to look at one thing. I'm just going to go to a monthly chart just so I can see if there's anything in the past. Nothing there. So again, we're looking at some all-time new highs. Nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a line right there. I don't worry about highs necessarily. I look where there's a bunch of touches. That's what I want. I see a touch, a touch, touch. Touch, 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 touch. A lot of touches right there. So anything above 65, pretty much bullish, pretty much long. That's nice. Now, as far as entry goes, if you're long today, great. Just keep in mind you got to deal with the election. If you don't mind that, if you don't care, if you trust the chart, rock and roll. Me, I don't trust it, and I've made that very clear in our trading room. I'm not ashamed of it at all. I can set my trading down for a couple of days. I'm more into protecting the almost 50% of my goal in 2 months than I am making more money. I've got 10 more months to make that other 50%. So I'm okay with that. Outside of that, this is a nice chart. Put that buy box up there. Buy now, wait till it tests. Excellent looking chart. Thank you, Mai. Appreciate it. Hello, Donna. In tap. Again, I'm going to assume to the long side. And in tap looks to me like it is simply going sideways. I don't think I would really, personally, and that's all I can do is share with you how I might trade it. Okay. I look at that and I think, well, when it breaks out, it'll get my interest. Inside here, all you're looking at are these trades like that right there. And if that's okay, that's all right. So I want to go back and repeat something I just said, and I want to explain myself a little bit. I said this is all you can get right here. And that's the way I see this. When I set up a trade, I look at when I'm paying for the trade, where it is now, and where can it go. And when I say where can it go, I'm talking about being a swing trader, not a long-term trader. And for a swing trade, where can this go? Logically, it can only go to 48.75. That's it. Now, can it break out? Of course it can break out. Absolutely it can break out. That's not what swing trading is. Swing trading is taking your chart from point A to point B, wherever point B is. Well, seeing how that's proved to be resistance, I'm going to call that point B. So that is the most this trade could possibly get in my mind. That's it. Once you break through, though, becomes a completely different trade. A whole different view, whole different attitude about it. When on a breakthrough, I see this trade going maybe even up into here. That would be a good place. Let's look at a weekly chart real quick. I'm going to lower that down just a little bit. Right there. On a breakout, I see it jumping up to about 59 bucks. But right now, all I see is trading back and forth in that little tunnel right in there. Hope that was helpful, Donna. Hope it was helpful. Harry, GRWDG. I think that's a bullish chart. Yeah. Let me get rid of this. There we go. So here we've broken above the T-line. That would get my interest. We also have a nice little consolidation area here. I'm going to go to a naked chart, what we call a naked chart. I could look at this and say, well, we may have a cradle bottom here starting to build up. And here's like the headboard, I guess, or footboard. Here's your bed, and then this is the headboard here. This is a chart pattern. So that's looking pretty good. I like that. I think, honestly, I wouldn't be a buyer until over about 19.15 or so. Here's why. First of all, we've got these two touches right here. We've got this hangman that had follow through. And that hangman happens to be right where those touches are. So above 19.15, above that low, that might be suggesting that the buyers are wanting to take this higher. So this is one of those cases where, again, I would put it on my watch list. I'd put it on my main watch list here, one of them. And when the chart started to alert, say, like a 2-day high or an intraday high, something like that, I might go look at it. And then if it's over 19 and 19.15, then I might consider that trade. Here's another little thing about trading. Now, I mentioned this in the room last week, and as crazy as it sounds, this is absolutely true, okay? I know of a few people that have paid big bucks to the tune of $25,000 to get trading education. And here's the one thing they learned, and I'm I mean, they learned a lot of other things that really don't amount to a hill of beans. But this is the one thing they did learn. And if it's worth $25,000, okay. But it is the one thing they did learn that I think is an absolute must for everybody. Absolute must. One, only trade in a trend. This does not look like it's trending to me. In fact, it looks like it's below the trend. But if you're going to trade in a new trend, then here's what needs to happen. And this is what they learned for $25,000. A low to a high. The chart needs to come back for a higher low. And by the way, I don't know that that's going to be the high. The high could be up here, and that would actually even be better. But we need to come back and test and make a higher low. And then we need to make a higher high. So let's just assume that's where the high is. The low, the high. 1, 2. Wherever that high is, that'll be the 2. We need to pull back, make the 3, and then go up, make the 4. We cross over the 2. That's where that becomes viable, right there, above that line. So while I'm not too crazy about GRWG, I do think if it gets up here to 1917 and if it creates that chart pattern, low to a high to a higher low, and then we start seeing buyers step in, that just might be a pretty doggone nice trade. Excuse me again. So, what'd they learn for $25,000? Wait for a low, high, higher low, trade above wherever that first higher high was. Okay, where are we? Oh, NIO. So you want to know about NIO. It's in a trend. I sold the last of mine today, just a little while ago. I sent that out on our members-only app, the app that we send out for every buy we make, every sell we make, and every adjustment we make. Not a bad little app, but it is only for members, and we do send that out. So today I sent out when I sold it. We bought it here. I added here. I added here. And I added here. Again, all alerted to members. I sold some here. And I believe I sold some here as well Friday. And then I closed the last piece out today. Do I think this can go higher? Absolutely. Do I think NIO do I think it has a very bright future? I do. I truly do. I closed mine because I'm a trader, and I'll trade the swings. So I'm waiting for it to pull back. I'll get right back in it. I hope that helps you, Harry, on your NIO. Not sure what you're after there. XLK for a long. Why? I'm in BC. I'm being dead serious, and I don't mean to be smart mouthed or anything. Why? We're unless it's that special indicator, hope, possibly, maybe the hope indicator. I took the hope indicator off my chart several years ago. Funny thing, I really started to make money when I dumped that indicator. We are in a downtrend, so why go long? I do not see a buy signal, so why go long? I do see the possibility of a double bottom. A double bottom is not a buy signal. Support is not a buy signal. Support and double bottoms mean nothing without price. They mean absolutely zip. Zada, nothing, absolutely nothing without price. When we see a buy signal, then we might be long XLK. And I am watching for it, by the way. I hope that made sense. My goal every year is to double my trading account. In January 2018, I opened up a small account to prove that you can make money with a small account. Now, I had no clue it was going to go from $5,000 as high as $78,000. Had no clue. My goal was simply to double it. But by living with just a couple of rules, one rule, don't buy unless you're trending. Second rule, buy when you're alerted, not on negative candles. I wait for alerts. I wait for the alerts to tell me it's a buy. And I wait for the chart pattern. I don't think that's a perfect way to trade. However, I do think it stacks the deck in your favor. So if we wait for that buy signal, if we wait for the trend to change, then it becomes a buy. Buying here, to me, is like buying on hope. It really, really is. I hope that, I don't mean to offend you or the fact you're looking at it. I'm just trying to explain why I would not be buying it, okay? So thanks for posting that. Bob, you bought the TXN. Oops, TXN. I'm going to go look at your entry there. You bought it in at 127. Oh, what did I just do here? Hold on. Hang on. All right, that went away. You bought it. You're in at 127. Let's see here. You're in at 127 thinking of closing today. Okay, so you bought it way back when. You're not looking for an entry now. You bought it way back here. And if you feel like you need to take those profits, by all means, do so. Absolutely. Yes, BC, this is being recorded, and if all goes well, the recording won't go up in smoke, and I will have it out for you. Yes. You bet, BB. Thank you. Hello, Hawk. Is this Hawk in Texas? Jason, no volume. Well, let's see. SNBR, no volume. Let's see. You know, Jason, I think there's plenty volume there. I think that's good volume there. I really do. I think it's on the low side of things. For options, it may be low volume. And I'm not looking at options. I'm just looking at the chart. So I have no idea what the options are. But as far as the volume goes on the chart, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. PWR. Hello, Neil. Yeah, PWR has been triggering on the scanner here for the past couple days, and then today on the breakout there. That's a nice looking chart. Here we just broke out. Buyers today, great. Buyers on an inside day consolidation over here, that would be great too. But that's looking like a terrific trade to me. Hello, Lee. AAU. So I'm going to have to look at this chart, this high over here, and I'm going to have to look at this failure here, and I'm going to have to consider, is this a failure or is it going to go through? I'm going to go look at the monthly chart. I just want to see what's ahead of me here. Let's back it down to a weekly chart. There we go. Let's look and see what's ahead of us here. So, there we go. So that's what's ahead of us. All right. So I think these are some fairly good targets. So if we were to wait for a breakout and test, would 18% be enough money for you? Would 38% be enough money for you? I can't see your answer because the questions are faster than I can see down. I'm going to bet your answer is yes. I'm going to bet that. So I think the best thing to do is wait to prove it can actually break out. Let it prove it can break out, and let it prove it can test successfully. So break out, come down, make some sort of a inside day, give us some bearish candles in here. Test, 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 test. prove that, we start seeing buyers, whoops, wrong one, hang on here. There we go. Now let's change that to green. There. Start seeing buyers come in. That might be where we want to look for that rather than right now. Right now, we're right up against resistance. I'm not feeling the love just because of that alone. Outside of that, overall, I think it is a nice looking chart. I just think the entry would be better up in this area. Our targets aren't going to change. Whether you buy it here or whether you buy it here, whether you buy it here, target's not going to change. So anyway, looks like plenty of money. Wait for that breakout. Let's see. Hello, Ray. NWL. For a long. All right. We have a nice breakout. Now, Ray, I'm a short-term swing trader, okay? So when you say long to me, it's short-term swing trade until you say different. So right now, my trade would only be to $20.75. That's where the resistance starts. So, and I wouldn't be buying today, just me. I mean, if you're already in it, okay, manage the trade. I'm going to wait for an inside day. So is it worth 11% to you? I think that's a pretty good trade. I'll take 11% all day long. To start with, all my trades are going to be directional options, directional calls and puts. Very easy to do. If somebody would ever like to learn how to do those, just, hey, come into the trading room and I'll be glad to help you with those. For those that, by the way, there's a trial for $49. You want to take a trial for 30 days. If you want nothing but 30 days, talk about trading simple options, I'll be glad to help you with that. For 30 days, we'll talk about it until you get it down. But that's what I would trade. So anyway, I think that's looking really good. I think that's a great trade, Ray. So what I would do is I would put this on my watch list, and there we go. I'd put this on my watch list, and when it started to pull back, one of my favorite trades is the 3/8 trap. So I would let it pull back, get into the 3/8 trap, and then the scanner will alert me when it's ready to trade. Now, we can also set an alert up so that it doesn't have to be in a 3/8 trap. Maybe it's just a little quick inside day and then right back up. We can also do that, like an inside day trade, something like that. Don, SQQ, if the market starts to drop, I think that's an excellent idea. As far as charts go, pretend it's not SQQQQ for somebody that's a doubter. It's just a chart, okay? Just a chart. That chart right there, I think is killer looking. I think that is a bullish chart. This is a rounded bottom breakout, and I think it's beautiful. SQQQ and SDS are a couple I am thinking about buying and holding through the elections, believe it or not. And I really want to be cash. I really, 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 really do. But they're looking so good, and they're in the rounded bottom breakout. I am thinking about it. But so far, just thinking. That's it. So very nice there, Don. And BC, if you're holding long term, as far as I'm concerned, if the company is good, it's really got nothing to do with the chart. If the company is good, and if you can believe it's long term, then it's a buy. Long term and swing trading are off the charts opposite. They just have very little in common. If you're looking long term, for instance, Walmart, I'm long term. I hardly ever, you can ask members, I hardly ever look at the Walmart chart. It's a long-term trade. I don't care what chart looks like. Just keep going. I'm wanting to be in Apple, but it hasn't pulled back enough yet. And Apple will be a long-term chart for me. I don't care what chart does. Once I buy it, let it keep going. So very different Very different attitude, very different trade, long-term versus swing trading. Is there a way to predict? No, there's not. I don't even have to read the rest of the question. There is no way to predict. You can't predict. How far stock will go after the breakout before it pulls back? Absolutely not. There is no way to predict that, BB. Sorry. When you find the answer, let me know. I'll buy it from you. I'll pay a lot of money for it. But no, there's no way to predict. There are some things we can do. There are some things you can do, like you can put fib lines up there and give you some ideas, but you can't predict that this $16 stock is going to go to $32 and then stop. You can't predict that it's going to go to $100. You just can't. You can't predict that. I'm afraid. Just can't do that. Let's see, BC, your 5K to 78 includes options. It's nothing but options, BC. There's no way a person can do that with stock. I do not think so. I've traded for a living for 30 years, trading nothing but stock. And never have I had returns like that. Not ever. And I don't believe a person can have returns like that. Unless you buy a stock and you just hold it and hold it and hold it, and it just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs, then that's possible. But for a trader, I don't believe you can have returns like that. For those that are nervous about options, trust me, I've never traded an option in my life until actually December of 2017. And I started trading for real with the account in January of 18. And seriously, 30 years, never traded an option. And it's really not that hard. And again, I'll be glad to go over that in the trading room, just because in lieu of time. We just don't have the time today to do it. How do you buy stocks in the buy box? Well, Guy, my buy box is always around a certain area. I always trade around the T line, around these green dots, which is the trendicator. My trendicator, by the way, this is nothing tricky. It's just a moving average. That's all it is. I use the 17 exponential. So when I set an alert up, or I have several alerts, like crossing the 17, crossing the T line, crossing the T line and pulling back. Those are the kind of alerts I look for. So if you'll look, all my alerts are, and here is the watch list that I put out actually Sundays, Charts to Ponder, which is today's watch list. There's the buy box. So here's Telray down. We move up. I want it to be over the T line. There's the buy box. Here's GE. Long as we're in that buy box, that's a buy for me. So since I buy everything around the T line, I look for things like the 3/8 trap. I look for things like, I think I've got an alert here, the 10 simple and 25 simple trap. And all that is price pinched between the 10 simple moving average and the 25 simple moving average. Things like that. So that's where my buy box is. If you were a person that bought stocks down low, this was also one of the trade ideas today. If you were somebody that bought stocks down here like this, the scanner can be set up for, moves to the downside, multi-bar consolidation maybe. You'd have to talk to Ed about it, but I'm sure he has a scan for it, or could put together a scan to scan when these type of charts are happening, when this consolidation is happening. So, and for instance, I don't trade with Bollinger Bands, but I know there's alerts in the scanner that alerts you. Again, I don't I'm not involved with that, so I don't know the particulars. But when it does whatever it does inside a Bollinger Band, it will alert you. Or maybe RSI, for instance, or MACD. If it's the thing is, you've got to know what you want, and then you set the scanner up, or Ed will help you, walk you through it, and we'll help you set that up. And also, I can help too, as long as I know what the trade is. But things with Bollinger Bands or MACD or RSI, I don't do anything with those, but I know they're there. Let's see, Bill, Boot. Wow, nice chart. Consolidation, breakout today to new highs, moving away from the T-line. Earnings, February 9th. In February, that's plenty long ago. And short interest, 19%. That's a great looking chart. I'm going to flag that one. Thank you for that. This might be one of the trade ideas tomorrow. Appreciate it. So let's look at a weekly chart real quick. So one of the biggest things that I like to ask myself is, what can a chart do for me? I don't want to buy it unless it can do something for me. And looking at this, I think when we see a big candle down like that, that's like well, there's no buyers in there to pick it up. So there's no argument in there. It's just a one-way trip down. So once we get inside a candle like that, I think that's actually quite bullish for the trend, for the current trend that's moving up. So I look at that and think, well, geez, that looks like 23%, pretty good. And the reality is we could get to that top. Why can't we? So I like the idea between 43 and 48. So let's go back to the daily chart here. Great breakout, really is. So let's just put that buy box in here. So somebody asked, how do you set it up for the buy box? First of all, 99% of stocks follow the T-line if you haven't noticed already yet. It's just the 8 exponential moving average. I think it's the perfect moving average for swing traders. When price is moving down, the T-line tends to click the tops. When price is moving up, the T-line clips the bottoms, or the bottoms clip the T-line, however you want to say it. And so I like to buy around that area right there. So here we are. Now, I generally don't buy the first day up, and if I do, it's sure as heck not going to be the day before the election. That's for darn sure. So guaranteed I wouldn't buy that. But put that on a watch list, and 3 days from now, if it's still moving sideways, I could get into that chart a lot. Even if it was to break out and come back and test, I would be okay. If I bought at 36.5, that's 17.5%. Is that enough money? It is for me. It is for me. Super nice chart. Thank you, Bill. If you're already in it, way to go. That's a cool chart. Hawk, yes. Okay. How you doing, Hawk? How's the missus? How's everything going? Yes, Don, we'll email the recording to you. Lee, you got to put me a ticker symbol in there, please. Otherwise, I have no idea. Rick did not receive an alert on NIO. You might want to make sure, Joe, that you are dialed in. Might want to make sure that you're logged in the room and you're actually paired to the room. Yeah, you want to make sure you're paired. If it's not paired, I can't, you might not be getting it. Did you get this morning's alert that said that the Hit and Run Candlesticks recording is ready for viewing? Let's see, NEM. If it can stay over the 50 period moving average, I would have to say that's a buy. 1, 2, 3 bars up is a good reason not to buy it, but it's a good reason to put on the watch list. And so here's your low, here's your high. Let's see if it gives some sort of consolidation that would create the higher low maybe, and then we start moving up again. That might be a nice buy. Nice 3 days here. Something like that would be pretty darn cool. Let's get rid of those lines. Let's put this line up. Here you go. That's actually a very nice chart. On consolidation, so a nice little pullback, I would consider a buy. And then, of course, on a breakout, I would consider a buy too. JMIA, sitting right here on the trend line. You know, we talked about this last week. Somebody was talking about it, and I thought, you know, I don't think that's a good idea because we're too close to this resistance here. Well, it's pulled back now. So this just might be gaining what we need to break through. Just might be now. Might be ready. Nice little bullish Romy. If it starts trading over yesterday's candle, 1670, I would have to really consider that, Jason. It's a nice chart. I'm going to flag that. Earnings on the 10th. Never mind. I'm going to unflag it. I want nothing to do with stocks that close to earnings. Now, don't get me wrong. I would take it, possibly, but I would not hold through earnings. Not a fan of holding through earnings. Since there's so many stocks that's out of earnings now, I don't have to fuss with that. So I'm not interested because earnings is in 8 days. No interest in it. Now, after earnings, I may have an interest in it. Not a bad looking chart. Not a bad looking chart at all. Just the earnings thing is a bummer. Let's see, BB, you don't know when to enter when it breaks out. You know, without looking at multiple charts, well, for the very short time that we have, here's what I would say. A breakout. So let's just say this breaks out, right? Breaks out of here. So what I'm going to do is that's my buy area. The breakout line, that's my stop. Actually, I would always go a little bit below, like that. So there's my stop. I'm going to look for that buy signal in here. And what I mean by a buy signal is, it doesn't matter. In fact, we shouldn't make it red. Let's make it blue. Neutral color. I don't care if it ends up with the close is greater than the open or the open is greater than the close. It doesn't matter. Just come down here and rest. Just rest. That's all I care about. And then what we want is to see buyers. When I see buyers, that becomes a buy. Anyway, to me, that is, for me anyway, that's the best way to trade an option. And let's see. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm getting my BB and BCs mixed up. Anyway, BB, does that help? And again, in lieu of time, we just can't, look at 3 dozen of them. Maybe we can find a time we can do that. BC's asking what kind of options. I only trade directional puts and calls. That's it. Very simple directional puts and calls. Here, let me go show you. Let's take a look at CLF. Earnings is in February. Let's get rid of this. You can see it's up. Here it's pulled back. Doji bullish in Gulf. We're moving sideways, right? And let's put the buy box in there, okay? Now, let me make sure this stays on top. Sorry. There we go. Stay on. Good grief, Rick. Stay on top. There we go. So this is coming up on my 3-bar chart trap. So we'll go look at the 3-bar chart really quick. There's the 3-bar chart, and that's hitting the trap right now. So here's the daily chart. So I might look at that as an entry. So let's look at the options. And I have no idea if this is going to be any good or not. Let's just bring it down and I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is type in CLF. I'm going to go out a minimum of 50 days. Minimum. There's 46. Can't do it. I'm going to go to January. And I'm going to look for open interest. Looks like there's plenty open interest. And I'm going to look for something around a 70. And 76 is close enough. So I would be looking at a January $7 strike. That's simple. That's simple. I'm going to click on that. And it has 11% between the bid and the spread. That's a bit too much, so I probably would not take that trade. That's a little bit stretched out. Too much bid and ask. You can go out further if you want. And that's plenty. And that's 18%. So see, this CLF would not be a trade for me. But that's exactly how I would do it. That, pretty darn simple. Let's see, Richard's asking, how do you tell if there is momentum behind the 3/8? Well, first of all, momentum to me, Richard, is a trend. If you've got a trend, you have to have momentum. That's just common sense. That just makes sense. Okay? So if you have a trend or momentum, then the 3/8 trap, all the 3/8 trap is a way to enter the trade. That's all. That's really all it is. It's a way to enter the trade. So if it's trending, it has momentum. And if it pulls back into the 3/8 trap, it hasn't lost momentum. You can find a chart that has been trending for months on end. Go count how many times it's pulled back to the 3/8 trap. Tons of times. And those are entry possibilities. So trending or momentum is just trending. And if that didn't help, let me know, okay? Please. Let's see. Would you buy GE today? Lee, what's my thought on buying today? Period. You know what it is. And Lee's in the trading room. So I'm going to also ask, what in here is giving you a buy signal, Lee? And then I'll wait for your answer below. Make sure you put GE in the question or answer. Buy any price inside the buy box. BC, no, you can't buy any price. You want to see buyers coming in. You want to see buyers coming in. So let's see here. Let's look at PWR. Okay. Now, PWR, make sure this stays on top. There we go. PWR is set up 3/8 trap looking for a 2-day high. Okay, that's the way this is set up. I want to see a 3/8 trap yesterday, and I want to be alerted when it makes a 2-bar high. So you can see I'm not necessarily looking to buy in the trap. I'm looking to buy on this alert. I'm looking to be alerted when prices are taking off. This is what I would call buyers coming in. What if, now yesterday and the previous day, I think this is a great looking chart. So what if today we did this? Would that be a buy? No, that would not be a buy. Where's the buyers? I want to only buy when buyers are coming in. That's one of my edges. And the edge is, I get the edge from live trading alerts. I want to be alerted when buyers are coming in. I have absolutely zero interest at buying this at the lows. Zero. I would rather buy this up here and trade this and make far more money than the person buying here. Because the person buying here, I will promise you, the majority of the people that buy here end up selling right here. Because it's the mentality. Buy cheap, sell cheap. Buy high, sell high, different mentality. Bigger money. Bigger money. So wait for the buyers to come in. Wait for the buyers to come in, okay? So, and if you did buy on any candle, the most important thing is the stop. We clearly have buyers here. There's clearly momentum here. Clearly. Where's your stop? So you could buy anything you want, I suppose, but just make sure your stop is in place to protect yourself in case you're wrong. That's the most important thing. That's the first time today I've mentioned stop. For those that don't use stops, just send me your money. Just send me your money and save yourself the grief. Send me your money and I'll send you a Christmas present, I promise, or a card. So Don's looking at SQQ long. It's a bullish chart, Don. Definitely is a bullish chart. Here is my inverse trades, and they're all hanging right in there. Yeah. But yeah, bullish trades looks long right now. Let's see, David, I bought a couple of leather belts at Boot Barn, high quality at a reasonable price. Okay, I'll just say okay. I don't know what to say to that. Cool. Bill, I'm not sure what you mean. You'll try. I'm not sure what that is. Paul, the T-line is nothing more than the 8 exponential moving average. That's all it is. It's the 8 exponential moving average. Hey, Hawk. Thank you. BC is asking, you always look at the weekly chart for analysis of swing trades? No, sir, I don't. Actually, I look at daily charts. And what I'll do is, because my screen only goes from, over here to the left, over to the right, it only fits so much on there. What I will do is go to a weekly chart just so I can get a bird's eye view. That's all. So I can look at this weekly chart and I can tell you right there, that's going to be a target. So there you go, just like that. So I don't really use it for any kind of analysis. What I use it for more is to get a bird's eye view of the chart. What I don't like to do is look at a daily chart and do this. Hard for me to make heads or tails of that. So what I'll do is go to a weekly chart. I'm not against that. I know a lot of people that use weekly charts. If it works for you, it works for you. No, nothing against it at all. George is asking, do you send alerts via email or only through the phone app? George, we do not send alerts email, and the reason is email is not reliable. Yeah, it's absolutely not reliable. There are people that will get the email, and then there's people that won't get it. Come to find out it goes to their junk box. They end up calling us. It becomes this big goat roping thing. So we do not send them out email. What we do, however, is we have a very special app for members that it's painless to you. You download the app. You have to log into the trading room once every 7 days. That keeps the app paired, and you'll get alerts that way. So the app doesn't cost anything. Membership costs, but trials is $49 a month, and you can try it for a month and get the alerts. Let's see, BC, AUI. There we go. The weekly looks better than the daily. If you say so. I don't think so necessarily. We're still in a downtrend. However, I'll give you this. It looks like we have support. Go back to the daily. Really, you see the same thing. And until we break out, I don't think we have anything yet. I get it. Somebody might be buying in here, but I think we want to pay attention to that support line or resistance line. That's where I would be buying anyway. Breakout and rest. Let's see. How far out do you go out in option trades? 50 days plus. Could be 100. Could be 200. 50 days plus. After 50 days, I start looking for open interest and the strike. LYFT has a doji and gap up trading above the T line. Is that a buy today? Has it broke the trend? I'm going to answer for you, seeing how I can't see your trade till I scoot the chat down. So, has it broke the trend? No. So, I'm going to do this. Broke the trend? I'm going to write no. Okay? Do we buy when the chart's been up 1, 2, 3 days? I'm going to write another no. Those are big no-nos. So trend, we haven't broke the trend yet. We've been up for 3 days. No, it's not a buy. Not by me, BB. Not by my rules. Okay? Is it above the trend indicator? Let's do another no. There you go. No. We're not above the trend indicator. No. No. So, what do I want to happen? Well, I don't care what it does here. It can do anything it wants right here. I want it to break out, and I want it to test. Then it becomes a possibility. Oops, there we go. You know, I'm dead serious. Okay, let's break traders down into a couple categories, okay? After I take a quick drink of water. Thank you. So, you've got the trader that's been trading for umpteen years. This trader trades for a living. This trader makes money. There's no questions about it. This trader might buy down here. That's their business, okay? If they're making money, if they've been doing this, good for them. They can buy wherever their little heart desires. More power to them. Obviously, what they're doing is working. But it doesn't mean that's going to work for you. For the trader that is just starting out, or for the trader that's struggling and can't seem to get 2 months in a row, stop looking at charts like this. Just stop it. Only trade charts that are trending. My guess is you will see an instant difference in your trading. That would be my guess. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to go out and trade for a living. I'm not saying you're going to go out and be able to buy a house or a boat or whatever you do. But my guess will be that you see a difference in your trading. Rather than try to pick bottoms, let them break out. Let them test. Let the trend change. So, if this is the trend going down, allow the trend to move up. Remember the $25,000 class lesson? It's like for, 3 or 4 months, okay? So $25,000 to learn to make a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. Above that high is where we start trading. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the high. I also want the rule it's got to be above the trend line. So I want to see a high, a test, and break out of wherever that high is. That's worth $25,000 right there, that lesson, right there. That will improve your trading like you've never, ever seen before. Okay, SPY, short going into Friday. If you want to. Mel, I can't. You're asking me for a trade. I don't know. My idea of a trade is don't trade until next week. I think the market is too risky right now. Now, With that said, let's just look at the numbers. Let's clean all that off. What's the SPY doing? I cannot trade with the election. I cannot trade what I think will happen if Trump wins. I cannot trade with what I think will happen if Biden wins. I cannot trade like that. And I do not believe anybody can trade. Well, that's not true. 50% of the people will be right, and 50% are going to go to the grave. So, let's trade the chart. What's the chart telling you? If you believe that's a short trade, by all means. And it does not look bullish, I'll give you that. Does not. But it doesn't look bearish either. I mean, it's just not falling apart. Not falling apart. So, my way of trading going into this next week is cash. Don't trade. That is my way. Let's see. Responding to your comment on my boot idea, I'll just say, okay, Bill, I apologize. When I go through these charts, it's like my mind just focuses on the charts. Remembering is not part of the equation. My mind would blow up. It would absolutely blow up. BC, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. You're saying so the Qs and SQQ are both up today. Well, I would have to say no. That does not look like it's up. That does look like it's up. Let's see. Would you trade Apple short? And where do you see a support? Okay, let's talk about Apple. Would I trade Apple short? Right now, the chart looks short, okay? I am not going to trade Apple short because I want to trade Apple long. Now, I know somebody could say, well, why don't you trade Apple short till it gets long? It's my way of trading. If you want to short trade Apple, you can short Apple. It looks like it's going down. Personally, I hope it goes down. I really do. Around this 98.50, 103 area, I'm hoping it gets down there and we see a good buy signal, a good turnaround. And that's where I'm going to start buying Apple. Now, if Apple wants to come down lower, that's okay too. But I'm going to wait for the long trade. I'm not going to trade it short. I'm going to wait for the long trade. Again, if you want to trade the short, it makes all the sense in the world. If you think it's going to continue to go lower. Now, the chart does not say it's going longer or going higher. That's for sure. It may be going lower. The problem is, and here's the problem, is will the election affect it? And I can't answer that. Will a Trump win affect it? I cannot answer that. Will a Biden win affect it? I cannot answer that. I do not know. So for me, the best trade right now is to not trade. All right? If you want to trade Apple based on the chart, it looks like it's trending down. And I do not see a buy signal right now. BC, your alerts are stocks only. BC, when I put an alert out there, when I post an alert, I post, it can be both stock or option, okay? Since all I trade is directional calls and puts, when I post an alert, I will post something like, here's what I'll post. Let's look at DFS. This is what I'm watching, okay? So let's do this. DFS. Earnings not till January. So I'm going to go off 50 days plus. So let's just go to January. And there we are. There's a 70 delta. That's plenty open interest. So what I'm going to do is click on this and, I'll place my order. And when I post it, what I will type in the post, what you would receive on your phone is bought DFS calls. I'm sorry, bought DFS January calls 60 strike. And I will put where my initial stop is. That's what you will see. Now, if you do not trade options, then you can trade the stock. But I write nothing about the stock because that's not what I'm trading. I'm trading the options. I don't want anyone to get carried away. I'm not buying this today. No intention of it. It's just one I'm watching. Let's see. Bill, flipping through charts, I came across FTCH. Yes, that's hot. Yes, it is. FTCH was alerting this morning on our, it's not number one because it's number one. It's just the first alert that we have in the pre-canned alerts. It's above the V stop, and it's a 3/8 trap, and it was coming up early this morning. Very nice. Very, very nice. Nice chart. Oh, come on already, Rick. There we go. Sometimes I get to moving my hand too fast for things. So anyway, let's see here. Flipping through charts, I came across Fitch breakout today from a week plus consolidation, but the implied volatility is over 100, making options expensive. How do you approach this situation? Don't trade the chart. Move on to a different one. That's how I would trade, Bill. If I don't like the trade, I would trade a different chart. Now, let me share this. And we need to come to an end here today pretty quick, all right? When I trade, I only use options to leverage my money. That is it. That is absolutely it. And I look at this chart. I ask myself, do I think this chart can go higher? And based on what we have, it looks like we just broke out. Yeah. So, do I think this chart can go higher? My answer is going to be yes. Do I think this chart can move? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. How about the 37? Do I think it can go to 37? Yeah, I think so. So the way I might put a trade on this is I'm going to back this line off to those bodies. This is going to be my buy box. And if I decide to trade it, then I'm going to trade it. And yes, I will buy an option on it. The only thing I look at for an option, good, bad, or indifferent, I don't mean to argue with anybody, nor do I expect anyone to argue with me on this. This is my way of trading. Okay, I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm just sharing my way. I just explained the chart. So let's bring this up here. Oh, maybe I just need to get a new computer. My computer is so slow. So let's go look at FTCH. We're going to go out January. When's earnings? See, I would not trade this because we're close to earnings. And that's one reason it's high in volatility. So I'm going to come over here. And I will trade a 65 delta, not a problem. Plenty open interest. I'm going to take that trade, which in real life, I'm not going to take that trade. And let me pull this down just a second. There we go. So there's my ticket. It automatically loads up with one option. If I want to buy it, I'll buy it. There's a 6.9% difference between the bid and the ask. I always buy mid, so it's going to be half that. That's good enough for me. If I choose to buy it, I'm going to buy it. That is exactly what I look at. Options is just a way to leverage my money. That's it. That is absolutely it. Again, if you don't like the high implied volatility, don't trade the stock. Or go do it in another means, like you say, a spread. But I don't trade spreads. I simply do not. Never have, and I'm not going to today. I'm not saying I never will, but I'm not going to do it today. Let me put all this back before I get myself in trouble here. Put that back. There we go. I hope that helped a little bit. I have a very precise way to trade, and it works for me. I have no idea if it'll work for you. For me, everything is about the chart. Do I think the chart's going higher? Do I think the chart's going sideways? Or do I think the chart's going down? It's all about the chart. Let's see, George is saying, and can somebody draw me a line down below, please? Pretty please. Thank you. Is there a different trading room for stocks and options, or it's the same room? Well, there's two different trading rooms. One is hit-run candlesticks, and one is right-way options. I am hit-run candlesticks. Doug Campbell is right-way options. We both do options, and we both do stocks. Doug gets into different types of options. I do simple calls and puts. That's it. No more, no less. Where Doug gets into more stuff like that, George. So, and also Doug is a bit more, little longer term. Not long term. Don't get me wrong. I'm a bit of a quicker trader, I think. He's a little bit slower, maybe, and I'll just leave it at that. Let me just say this: look at $49 a trial for each one of us. So it's $49 one, $49 another. That's pretty cheap money to find out. Pretty cheap. Thanks for asking. How about Boeing? I don't see anything in the chart. Ernesto? Yeah, I don't see anything in the chart. I don't see a reason to trade this. I see no logical, common sense reason at all. Unless you're thinking about buying and you're willing to hold it for 10 years. I don't know. Is Boeing going to be worth a damn in 10 years? Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be 5 years? I don't know. Boeing's got its problems. But I do not see a trade. One, I don't see a short because it is holding up right here. I don't see a long because it's not above our trend indicator, and I don't have a buy signal. So from the way I look at a trade, move Boeing aside. Let's look at a trade that can actually make us some money, or you have more confidence in, that I have more confidence in. Sorry, my voice is starting to go away. So yeah, I don't see anything in Boeing right now. If somebody made me take a trade, well, I would duck and run. I don't want to take a trade on this. Anything below 144 and a half, it probably will go down a little bit more. Anything above 171, it just might pop up a little bit, maybe even test this high over here in June. But overall, I just don't see a trade in Boeing. Thank you, BB. Thanks for all your questions, by the way. Thank you. Mel, can you give us a win rate? Mel, no, I can't. I honestly, I don't. I would have to go figure it out. I really would have to. The rate I'll tell you is January 2018 to a couple months ago, $5,000 to $78,000. Opened up a new Road to Wealth account 2 months ago. It's tapping 50% gains so far in 2 months. And my goal is just to double the $10,000. And it's already sitting at 14.5. So there's my win rate. But the actual numbers, I don't know. In my opinion, it's too late to short until the election. David, I'm 2 thumbs up with you there. I think the only thing we're not too late for is to go buy some ice cream, popcorn, cotton candy, and let the games begin. Stay put, and unless you're day trading. We didn't even talk about day trading. June snow. Day traders, this is a perfect time to day trade. Perfect time. I noticed over here, I have another monitor that I keep VXX up, and I see it's popping up on the 15-minute chart. VXX is looking like a pretty good chart right here on the daily, for whatever it's worth. But yeah, day traders are probably having a heyday. Yeah. Mel put on some SPY puts. Might not be a bad idea. Yeah. Honestly, I am thinking about buying SQQ going into the election. Or SDS, one of the two. Excuse me again. I am thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Oh, mercy me. Did you say you'd buy Apple at... No, Mel, that's not quite what I said. You want to get me aggravated. Here, this aggravates me when I hear people say, I'm buying Apple at 103. Are you really? And what's going to possess you to buy it? Because it hit 103? No, I will buy Apple when it gets down lower, and I like this area, but I will only buy it if I see a buy signal. I will only buy it if I see buyers stepping in. That is one of my edges. The scanner will tell me when the buyers are stepping in. This is one of my edges. So I hope that made sense, Mel. I'll also buy Apple at 98, providing I see buyers stepping in. When I see buyers buying, I want to tuck myself right in with them and buy alongside them. BC, go to the website, you'll see it. I don't know what the rates are. I really don't know. Okay, I'd have to go look myself. Let's see. Thanks, Rick. Your thoughts on Apple. I do own them shares, but at a much lower price. Nice, Mel. Way to go. True story. Years ago, and I do mean years ago, I had a friend of mine that was into Apple, Macintosh, all that. And the price was $17. I remember that. Maybe some change in there, but 17 was the big number. He said, Rick, you should buy Apple. Or, yeah. I said, I would not buy that. You couldn't pay me to buy that. That stock's going nowhere. Shows you how smart I was, right? $17 a share. Oh. I was a bonehead. So way to go, Mel. Nice. Yeah, I can't wait till it pulls back. And I want to buy it. And it'll be a long-term hold. I'm not going to trade it. I want to own more Apple. The election will affect the market. There's no question in my mind, Don, it will. The problem, we have no idea how it will affect the market. You're correct. We really don't know how. First of all, we don't know who's going to win. Second of all, we don't know whoever's going to win, how it's going to affect the market. And since I'm a trader from the charts, I have to let this disturbance pass. Yeah, I have to let the disturbance pass. ARLP. If you're long this, I'd probably stay long. That looks pretty good. That's a rounded bottom breakout. I love this chart. This is my favorite strategy of all time. Right here. We're in the rounded bottom breakout. The trade is basically from where you buy it to the 200 period moving average. I'm not saying it can't go higher. It absolutely can. But the rounded bottom breakout, that's the strategy. That's a great looking chart. I think I'd have to put a little target zone about right in here too. That's a terrific Terrific looking chart. Thank you, Steph. Nice. FTCH bullish put spread. Great, Jaro. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Ed. Hey, all right. Everybody, thank you so very much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope you can come back here Monday, same time, same place. I'm pretty sure Ed's going to let me come back next Monday. So if you're interested, come on back. And if you're interested in the scanner, I know there's a 14-day trial. I don't have a link handy with me, but there's a 14-day free trial. If you want to give the scanner a try, Ed does a webinar on LTA on Wednesdays where he does a lot of training, setting things up for people. He'll also work with you one-on-one. You can schedule some time to set up the type of alerts that you would like to use. Again, the scanner is a big edge among a little bit of chart quirks that I have. For instance, only trade in a trending chart. Only trade when a chart comes back to me, where I want it. Those are hedges. Again, with this LTA. All right, I'm going to get out of here before I just keep rattling on. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, a great week, and I hope to see you next Monday. Thanks a bunch.